Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Hagayama, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to Be Your Own Hero. I'm a stage 4 prostate bone and lung cancer patient slash survivor. Been dealing with cancer since late 2020, early 2021. Doing very well here in Texas. And summer's here, although it's very moderate for summer so far, which means it's in the low 90s, but that's all good here. We're okay with that. I'm so excited today because I have a neighbor of my daughter's from New York, and her name is Jenn McCormick. So I'd like to bring her on. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and we're going to get into a great conversation. Jenn.
Hi. Hi, I'm Jenn McCormick. Um, as you said, I live in upstate New York, not too far from your daughter. I am a previvor of colon cancer for about just over 2 years now. Um, I am a mom of three. I love gardening and baking. Um, I belong to a group, which is how I had met Mark. I had gotten into advocating, for patients for colon cancer, and it's gotten me into like a little bit of other cancers too. And I like giving back what I have been given, as a patient, and it's very fulfilling to me. And I believe that, it's what I've been meant to do.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Let's go back a ways and talk about your mother and how her journey affected your own cancer journey. So if you could share with us your mother's story and we'll get into that and then we'll move into your story if we have time here.
Okay. Back in March of 2021, um, my mom, who had just turned 62, uh, was diagnosed with colon cancer. Unfortunately, she had never went for a colonoscopy or anything like that. So when she was diagnosed, it was because she was in so much pain. She ended up going to the emergency room, and they found a big tumor that she was already terminal. There wasn't anything that they could do for her. And besides provide comfort for her. Um, and unfortunately, she passed away 2 months later in May of 2021.
So let's talk about all of that and how, you know, her journey affected your family.
Um, it I was really close to my mom growing up. So finding out that she wasn't going to be around much longer hit me really hard. Um, it just like it's something that you can't explain to people. Losing a parent, it's just one of those things that you don't know it till you're there. Um,
That's really
during
well put. I like the way
it,
you put that.
thank you. Um, Unfortunately, I it was during like the time of COVID, so I couldn't really go in the hospital and see her. So like a lot of the communication was done like through my brother or over the phone. Um, she About a month after her diagnosis, she was transferred to a nursing home because she was too sick to go home. Um, so I did get to see her a few times in the nursing home. Again, it was during COVID, so we couldn't go inside. And so we would stand at the window outside her room, and they would put her in a chair and bring her up to the window so that we could talk.
So complete this whole picture. You were outside having to see your mom through the window. I know because I
Yeah,
had to do the same thing with my dad. My dad was in a home and they would bring him to the window and it was just wrong. It was just so
yeah. It's just, especially when you know they don't have a lot of time left. And like the one thing that I wanted, which I mean, in a way I did get when she passed away, because like we were allowed to go and she was in ICU, and so obviously we were allowed to go in because she was dying. But when I went to see her in the nursing home, like the one thing I wanted was to just be able to give her a hug, to like just for to give her a hug and to like feel one from her. And we can't do that through a window, but I got to give her a hug uh when when she was passing. Like she wasn't conscious. She was sedated. Uh but I'll tell you, like I always wondered, and I didn't think of this until just now. I always wondered if when people are sedated, like when they're passing away, can they hear you? Like the doctors always say, like there's a chance they can hear you. Well, I'll tell you, I fully believe that they can, because like I just kept telling my mom, like uh she was deaf in her left ear from when she was a child. So like I stood on her right side and I just like I leaned down over her and I was just like talking in her ear, and I just kept telling her I loved her, you know, and not long before she passed away, uh she she was on a ventilator, so she had like the tube down her throat. And not long before she passed away, I was telling her, that I loved her and that we would be okay. And I heard like this like wet kind of noise, and I looked up and my mom was moving her mouth, like she was trying to tell me that she loved me too. And in that moment, like I knew that she could hear me, and it was like I'll always hang on to that memory just because it was so special that I knew she heard me telling her that I loved her. And I told her, you know, that I gave her permission to go. Like I told her it was okay, mom. I said, you can go. I said, we'll be all right. I said, you can go. And maybe 10 seconds after she passed away.
oh wow. Oh my goodness, that just sent chills down my spine. Wow. Wow. Uh-uh. How many people have the opportunity to do that? I mean,
I know.
be
And
there
I'm
at that moment.
so I'm so thankful that I was, able to be there, because like that's just something that I'll always hold on to.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is just uh, absolutely beautiful. And it's something
Thank
that,
you.
I know that you will never forget that. I mean, that's
No.
something
So
that you carry with
so
the rest of your
a-
life.
absolutely. So like anybody that's watching this, if you're ever wondering if your loved one can hear you, they can hear you. I promise you, they can hear you.
Wow. That is I'm speechless. That is just uh, incredible, absolutely incredible. And not the
It
fact
was.
that she died, but the fact that you had a chance to say
Mhm.
that to
Yeah.
her, which I think everybody who uh, everybody would want that. They'd want to
Yeah.
be able to say goodbye in person,
Yeah.
which wow, that is amazing. So was it just you there, or your siblings, or your kids?
Um, uh, my youngest daughter was 11 at the time. So, being in ICU, like she wasn't able because you had to be 18. But my two older kids were there. Um, I had some family members were there, some of my mom's friends. so um she had people there.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So,
Oh, and I also, my brother, he lives in Tennessee. So when it came down to like the last little bit of time, I I FaceTimed him so that he could be there.
Zoom and FaceTime and all these apps are great, but there's nothing that replaces being there in person.
Abs Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So your mom passes and there's I can't imagine the grief that's involved and everything like that. But let's move forward in, on the timeline
Hmm.
and talk about you. So go ahead and start sharing about your journey.
Okay, so we'll jump forward to November of 2022. I was 46 at the time. And I said, I said I should schedule my colonoscopy. I hadn't had one. And so I went and I figured I'd just go in, they maybe might find a couple polyps, and say, see you in a couple of years. And that's not exactly what happened. Um, I woke up and the nurse told me, um, the doctor found 50 polyps and he wants to come see you. And I'm thinking, that can't be right. Like nobody has that many. Like I must have, misunderstood her. So a minute later, the doctor comes in and he said, I found 50 polyps. And he said, I took out the 12 largest ones. Um, and don't worry if it's cancer, I got it all. And like for a second, like my world, just all I could hear was like that one word, cancer. Um, and I thought of my mom right away and I said, this isn't happening, like I I'm only 46, like this is not happening. And so they tested it and it takes a couple weeks to get back to the results, and thankfully it was not cancer. They were precancerous, but they were right on the verge of turning to cancer. Um, so my doctor, he told me, my GI doctor, he said, I'm going to send you for genetic testing because usually when there's this many polyps, um, there's something genetic going on. So I said, okay. Um, he at first thought it might be Lynch syndrome, which it was not. It takes a while to get in for genetic testing because there's not a lot of facilities here in New York that do it. So it takes a few months to get in. So the end of January, I went and got it done. In the beginning of February, I found out that I tested positive for, I have a mutated APC gene, um, which is what causes things like FAP. That gene pretty
Can you
much,
explain for our audience what FAP is?
yeah. First, I'm going to explain what the APC gene does. Um, Pretty much its only job is to tell the cells in your digestive tract to, don't make polyps, don't make tumors. So I call it my broken gene because mine doesn't do that. It doesn't like give that message along. So it doesn't work. So it's broken. Um, FAP is familial adenomyomatosis polyposis, um, which um, it's a dominant thing. So like both of your parents don't have to carry the gene, just one parent. If one parent has it, you have a 50% chance of also carrying that gene. Um, And because your don't make tumor gene doesn't work, your mostly affects your colon. It can affect you anywhere in your digestive tract, but it gives you a 99% chance of getting colon cancer in your lifetime. Um, so your polyps, they just grow like crazy. Like I have an attenuated version, which means that it started later in my life. And um, like when I had my surgery, I had went up to like I had 80 polyps. I have a friend that I met um, online, and she has the classic version, which she was diagnosed as a child and had her colon removed at 9 years old because
Ooh.
she had um I believe it was like hundreds of polyps in her colon. Some people have thousands. Like it just the polyps just have a party in there and they invite all their friends, and like there's nothing to stop them from growing. Unfortunately, there's no like treatment for FAP yet. Um, so most of the time, when you have it, most people end up like the one treatment right now is to get a colectomy, which is having your colon removed. Um, I had 2 years ago in May, this past May, um, I had my colon completely removed because I had polyps all throughout it. Um, a big question that I get asked is, so do you have a bag? No, I do not have a bag because
Wow.
thankfully they were um, able to attach um, my small intestine to my rectum, so which is called a pull through. Um, and it takes a long time for your body to adjust after not having, having your colon removed. It took about a year, for my digestive system to adjust to not having a colon. Um, because
How
your
did that talk about how that affects your daily life?
um okay, so in the beginning, um, your colon's main job is not only absorbing nutrients, which a lot of that happens in your small intestine, but your colon also does absorb nutrients. But the biggest job your colon has is absorbing water. So because I don't have a colon, I always have to be conscious of how much I'm drinking, because I get dehydrated easier, especially this time of year in the summer when you're hot. Um, so right now, that's like the biggest thing I worry about. In the beginning,
So
um,
how do you deal with that then? If you
I always make sure I have water with me. And like when I was at work, at the time I was working in a deli, and you're not supposed to have like anything to drink like behind the counter, because health laws and all that. So I had to get a note from my doctor to say that I could have water behind there. But I always make sure I have water with me, and I always watch out for like the signs of dehydration. Like for me, my first sign is my mouth gets dry. Um, uh, you know, um, different things I eat will affect me differently. Like I've noticed since not having my colon, dairy affects me a little bit differently. So I can have dairy, but I don't have it as much because it'll it'll cause me to have like diarrhea. Like my body just doesn't like it so much right now. In the beginning, incontinence was a big issue for me for like the first month or two, um, which is very upsetting, and very depressing. But as you learn like your new way of digesting and your body gets used to it. Like thankfully that went away. Um, um, but it's a lot of relearning your body and your body relearning itself. And so
And
you learn,
I also think it's, accepting where you are with your
yes,
new you. And
yes,
that's not the easiest thing to do because you're used to living a certain way and doing certain
hmm
things your way, and now that has to change. And
yes.
so, yeah,
And it's a lifetime change. Like, I'll never be, which in some ways that's good, but I will never be the person that I was before all this happened.
physically.
Yes.
So talk about uh let's talk about your family and how your family has dealt with your mom and then with you.
Um, my kids, it was it was hard on them when my mom died. Not just losing her, but like also watching me go through it, and like we're very close, my kids and I. I've been blessed like that, like we are extremely close. So like when one of us is hurting, like it's hard for the other ones to see that. And so they were very supportive of me, during that. And it was it was their first grandparent that had died. Um, so it was also a new experience for them. Um, and then when I was started going through my own journey, I I think they also like were remembering, like my mom, because I think they were afraid that they were going to lose me. Um, Especially my youngest daughter, excuse me, who was 12 years old at the time of my surgery. Um, like she she was very scared, of what was happening, and um, you know, the fact that we didn't really know like what was going on. I was very open with them, through the whole process of like what was going on, what I learned. They came to doctor's appointments with me, and asked their own questions, uh, and things like that, so I kept I reassured them that, hey, like I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm going to be around for a long time, so like yes, this does really suck right now and it's scary, but you're not losing me.
Share with us what your younger daughter said to you.
Oh, it was my oldest daughter.
Oh, it's your oldest daughter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So I was at work one day, and I was just having like I went through a period of some pretty bad depression, like after my diagnosis. And I was having just like a bad day, and I was at work, and I was texting my oldest daughter when I was on break, and she texted me back, and she told me, she said, it's going to be okay, Mom. She said, God doesn't give us more than we can handle. And she said to me, she said, this isn't just your fight. She said, this is our fight. And she said, we're going to fight it together. She said, you're not alone. We're going to fight it together.
Wow. Talk about how that made you feel.
It was, I cried. It was just like, I knew she was there for me, but just like that, that it just, I realized it on a different level when she said that, and it made me very emotional, like in a good way. And, I cried and, it's something that I'll never forget.
How old was she then?
She was 24.
Okay. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love that. Those are the kind of things that make our journey what it is because you remember those. There's certain
Yes.
milestones and certain events that happen in our journeys, and they
Hmm.
just profoundly, if you're alive, they profoundly influence you and affect you.
Yes.
And so that is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Um, so you're going through all of this. What is your mindset at this point? Where are you at as far as the way you're thinking? Are you said you fought depression. When did you turn that around? And, how did that affect your mindset?
Um, at first, I I knew something was, going on with me, mentally. I mean, obviously, like I had a lot of stress going on, um and I was scared, I because again, like I didn't know what was gonna, what my journey was gonna look like. And so at first I was just like, I'm just gonna fight through it, like I'm fine. Um, because you think with like depression and anxiety and stuff, somewhere in your mind it tells you that, which is totally wrong, but it tells you that if you don't fight it off, and like you go get help, like in some way that makes you weak. I've learned that that is not true. Um, Asking for help and going to get help, actually makes you extremely strong, because you're so vulnerable, and to let somebody in and tell them, you know, like your darkest stuff and have them help you through it, it takes a lot of strength to do that. And so, don't believe the stigma that, because you need to get help, whether it's counseling or medication or both, or, whatever, um, it doesn't make you weak. You are so strong for doing it. And, you know, if you need the help, please just get it, you know, just get it, because it helps in a big way. I was able to deal with my fears and things that were making me sad, and, and once I dealt with that, I was able to grab onto the strength to like really be like, okay, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna let this beat me. Whatever's gonna happen, I'm gonna fight it with everything I have. Um, and once that happened, I'm not gonna say like I don't have bad days. I do have them sometimes, but I now have the tools that I can fight them off easier and get through it easier. Um, but I also have a strength in me that I didn't realize was there before.
Beautiful. I love that. Jen, we have so much more to talk about. Would you like to come back to shoot a part two with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to bring you back for a part two, but to finish up this part one, looking back on your cancer journey so far,
Mhm.
what would you say is the most important thing that you've learned through this whole process?
Oh, that's a tough one because I've learned so many things, so
No, if you could
many,
just pick one, uh, that's,
um,
resonates or that comes to mind quickly.
uh, maybe like the biggest thing I've learned is to not be afraid, to reach down inside yourself, and grab the strength that you may not realize is there, but it is there, and you're stronger than you think, and you're going to make it through it. Whatever happens, you're going to be strong enough to deal with it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Jenn McCormick, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Uh, you have a phenomenal story, and this is a
Yeah.
story that people need to hear. So thank you so much for your time. We're going to see you again in part two. And thank you for everyone out there for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. And we only grow around once in this life,
Mhm.
and time is our most precious commodity. Let's make the most of it. Let's make the best of it. Each day that we have the privilege to open our eyes, we have the opportunity for a new day and to do the things that can help the world and help the world become a better place. So why not do that? Even if it's something small, and make the most out of each and every day, each and every hour, each and every minute, and each and every second. So thank you so much for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. Have a phenomenal week, and also quick commercial. Please like, subscribe, make a comment in the comment section of the video, and we will see you next week on To Be Your Own Hero. Thank you very much.